makes a parent betray their own child? My son Caleb died of an overdose. The investigation deemed it a tragic accident, but his brother Dominic refused to believe it. So much so that at the funeral he yelled, "Caleb was murdered," before dropping to his knees. The sound of my son sobbing into the microphone broke what was left of me. He cornered me in the kitchen that night. I'm gonna get justice for him. The next day, he went into school with nothing but a pen and paper to talk to every one of Caleb's classmates. When he came home, he went straight for his laptop and stayed awake all night researching something. I woke up to him not slept and drinking hard liquor at his desk. I begged him to go to bed, but he couldn't. He had some questions prepared for a kid named Bryce. He came home a few hours later. "It was Bryce," he yelled, shoving his scribbled notes that smelled like alcohol in my face. I asked Bryce if he ever sold Caleb Adderall, and he said no. I stared at him blankly, and then he immediately changed the subject. I tried to say that didn't mean anything, but he interrupted. He changed the subject, "Mom, he's the one." That night, Dominic talked more about Bryce than he talked about Caleb. Within 2 weeks, Dominic's entire life revolved around Bryce. He'd follow him to school in the mornings, sneak into his classes to observe him, then spend evenings locked in his room working on what he called his ultimate plan. He even started following Bryce's car when he drove his little sister to her dance recitals. On the 1-month anniversary of Caleb's death, I bought flowers and asked Dominic to come visit the grave with me. He hadn't even gone once yet. "I can't," he said. "Bryce gets lunch at Chipotle every Saturday at 12:30. I need to be there." I went alone and cried for both my sons. It got worse when I found a tracker device receipt in our bin. "I put it under Bryce's car," he said proudly. "He drives somewhere every Tuesday at 7. I work on my master plan then and can't follow him, so I just track him." That night, I woke up to a house alarm and an ambulance blaring down the street. Dominic wasn't in his room, but as I was calling him, he rushed back in dressed in all black and sprinted to his room. He drunkenly babbled in the morning that he'd thrown bricks through Bryce's windows. Bryce's mother had a heart condition, and triggering the alarms gave her a stroke. When I confronted him, he slurred, "I lost a brother. He should lose something too." I told him, "Don't become the monster you think you're destroying," and his face went dark. "You're choosing Caleb's killer over your sons?" He then stepped closer. "Don't make me include you in my master plan, Mom." The threat in his voice made me step back. Despite being genuinely afraid, I sat him down that weekend. I asked what proof he had that Bryce did it, and his eyes went wide. He pulled out spreadsheets, showing me timestamps of Bryce taking his little sister to practice. Isn't it weird how he goes at the exact same time every week? He had also recorded Bryce going into pharmacies and walking out with paracetamol, and had screenshots of Bryce's social media where he'd found clear hidden meanings. When I explained how this wasn't proof, he yelled, "That's the difference between us. He does something about the problem." I sit here and cry all day. 2 days later, I got a call from the nursing home. It was about Dominic. He'd gone in to see Bryce's grandmother, who had dementia, and spent hours telling her that her grandson was a murderer. That evening, I was more blunt than I'd ever been with him. "What makes you think it's okay to torment Bryce's family?" "Because," he started, "they share DNA with a killer. That makes them accomplices." "I understand you're grieving, but you need to stop," I replied. "This is an innocent man's innocent." Dominic shot up, interrupting. He slapped me across the face hard. "If you think he's innocent, you're just as bad." He left me crying on the couch while he went out to follow Bryce because his tracker started going off. Soon, Bryce's mother personally called me. She sounded like she had just finished crying and told me to get my son under control before they pressed charges. Turns out, Dominic cornered their 11-year-old daughter after school. He told her she'd grow up to be a killer like her brother. I was devastated. I apologized and promised her Dominic would never bother her family again. But then right as I was hanging up, I got a call from Dominic's principal. Dominic was caught adding peanuts into Bryce's lunch. Dominic swore it was an accident, but how do you accidentally open someone's bag, take out their lunch, and add the one ingredient they're allergic to? Thanksgiving weekend was 4 days away, and I remember it especially well. I'd spent the entire day cooking a meal Dominic didn't eat and went to bed without saying goodnight. He was locked in his room laughing about the ultimate plan. This terrible feeling suddenly washed over me, the kind where I just knew. I stayed awake waiting for something, him calling someone coming in, anything. And then at 2 a.m., I heard it, him leaving the house. I looked out the window and saw him pulling out. I ran down, got in my own car, and started driving. The first place I checked was Bryce's house down the street, but there wasn't a single car and nobody was home. The only other place I could think of was Bryce's grandfather's home. I remember seeing the address written on one of the incoherent pages Dominic showed me. I put it into GPS and sped there, but before I even got to it, I saw it, smoke filling the sky, and the closer I got, the clearer it became. Dominic had set Bryce's grandfather's house on fire, with Bryce, his parents, his sister and grandparents, as well as his 4-year-old cousin all inside. Full story on channel linked below.